I just watched Avatar. I went to buy a hard drive at Best Buy or something, and they had a cheap Blu-ray of the movie, whatever. And I thought, you know what? I haven't seen it since it came out. I was kind of a little bit on it when I saw it when it was released, but I thought, you know what? It's not going away, and it's still in the zeitgeist a little bit. So, I mean, not super memorably, but it's there. So let's check it out. Okay, fine. So I went and I watched Avatar for the first time since it came out. That movie is really interesting. It's still the #1 movie in global box office history. It still is. Star Wars didn't top it. It topped it here in America, but not worldwide. Okay, fine. Why is that? Because honestly, I didn't think it was very memorable at all whatsoever when I saw it in theaters when it came out. I thought that was totally forgettable and just kind of, there was nothing to it, and I grew to hate it more and more as I heard about how good it was doing in the box office. You know what I mean? Like, started to get bitter about it almost. So I gave it another shot. I got some fucking pizza and I watched it in 3D. I had the fucking glasses on in my living room and all that. And my thoughts are right now, just coming off of it, that movie just, its story is just one fucking layer. I mean, that is not new information, but it's just one layer. And I think that's why it doesn't really sink its hooks into my soul. You know what I mean? It's very A to B. You know, it's like we're here on this planet and everyone's acting like they're fucking, we're gonna rip it down and we're gonna mine it and get unobtainium, which is the worst name still for an object, but it never deviates from that. You know, like, well, shit, that's wrong. They can't do that. And there's nothing really that happens in terms of, like, you know, Jake Sully, the guy, the main character, doesn't really, I mean, once he gets involved with the Na'vi, kind of just, he loves them, and that's it. There's no second layer to it. The bad guy is cartoonishly bad the whole movie. He never has a moment of, like, wait a second, you know, like, it would be interesting almost if they made him kind of Benjamin Linus style, you know, where you don't really know where his allegiance lies, and he fucks people over, and you don't really, you know what I mean? It's like, let's add some twist to it, man. But it's just A to B. It's like, oh, they're going to tear this down. We got to protect it. And that's all that happens. Aside from that, what the movie is good at is world building, which is hard to do in movies. But, you know, as soon as Avatar starts, they show them the machines that are like, you know, here's where you'll connect to your avatar. And they open the machine and he pokes around. It's like the bed, it's almost like a bed of jello that he has to lay in. That feel, you know, it's like, and then they lay this neural kind of mesh over him, and like, it feels tangible. Even though the movie's full of CG and it's all 3D and whatever, it feels tangible. Like, if I had that fucking machine, I could sit in it and it would do that. You know, like, they build the world and its rules really well. Even when he goes out with the Na'vi and stuff like that, and he's out in the jungle, I don't know if I care about the style of it so much, but it all feels like it follows rules of its own, you know? He's taking the little tendril fucking things out of his ponytail, and the way he kind of meshes it with the tree, and he talks, and he like gets it to respond to him and stuff like that. Like, it's all stuff that feels like there's a real set of rules here. You know, he kind of connects to the horse that he rides, and he can kind of feel it breathing, and it all feels like it follows a very real set of rules. And I think that is kind of cool. It does a good job at setting that up. And also, too, like, you know, they're building Avatar Land or whatever at Disney World. That is, honestly, as much as I'm whatever on Avatar, that's probably going to be cool, because there's very real rules established with that world. It feels very, even though the CG hasn't aged very well, it feels very tangible, just in its ideas. And so that'll be cool to visit there, honestly. I think that's probably going to work out really well. But anyway, it's just the story, and even the characters are not, you know, there's kind of like cool, but there's not more than one side to anybody at all, you know? It's just like, what? nobody has any kind of change of heart or there's no twist to it. It's just kind of like, there isn't really a lot of conflict with these people. They are there to serve their purpose. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting, though. All these years later, you appreciate the good things. It's very well directed, because it's James Cameron. It is well directed. And there really, given that it's almost 3 hours, there really isn't a dull moment. Or in terms of like, oh my God, this is taking too long, or anything like that. It's paced very well. Like, even when there's moments where things go wrong or they're detained somewhere, it just keeps moving. Like, things keep happening. So it's well directed, and honestly, why I think it does so well in terms of internationally, like why it's number one the world over, is you don't really need words to tell the story. It tells the story it wants to tell non-verbally. I mean, you could put that movie on mute, and just the directing and everything tells you everything you need to know. So I think in that regard, and it was an experience. It's number one because everybody saw it in fucking 3D. Nobody even considered not seeing it in 3D. Whereas, even Star Wars that came out, did you see it in 3D? I didn't see it in 3D. Some people did. A lot of people did. But, like, it wasn't, like, the fucking de facto way to see it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to make of that. But anyway, it tells a story that works across all languages, all barriers, whatever. So I get that. Anyway, seeing it now, I respect the strength. But, man, it's just, such a simple movie. What did you think of Avatar? Yeah, I just saw it and I wanted to word vomit all that out. Okay, anyway. I don't know.